Okay, so maara naman kamo, di ba? It formula, it moment of inertia about the neutral axis or about the centroidal axis of a shape for a rectangle that is, say for example, this is the center of gravity or the centroid, and the axis that passes through that point is what we call the neutral axis. Ang may neutral axis, sometimes called as the centroidal axis or the neutral axis. Okay, so the formula for rectangle, maram naman kamo, di ba? That is BH cube over 12. Okay, that is in respect to this axis. Okay, BH cube over 12. Now, how about if we are talking about any other axis, but not the centroidal axis? So, say for example, this axis right here. What if you are trying to find the moment of inertia of this shape, but with respect to this axis? So, what's the formula? Atong gagamit is what we call the transform formula. And that is, the formula is I at any axis is equal to the summation of I and A plus AD squared. And this is the formula. Kaya ano summation? Because there are instances nga imo shape is a composite shape. So, ibig sabihin, your shape is made up of many regular shapes. Later, maintindihan niyo kung kaya ano summation. So, basically, since this is just a single shape lang siya, rectangle lang, this formula will be I is equal to INA plus AD squared. Di ba? Usa man lahi nga formula. So, this is your formula nga gagamiton. Okay, so your INA here, ini nga INA, amo na niyan siya ni nga BH cube over 12. So basically, the INA is the moment of inertia of the shape with respect to the neutral axis. That's why we call it INA. And A stands for the neutral axis. Okay, then the second term naman, we have here the AD squared. Your A here is the area of the shape. And your D naman, D is the distance from the centroid of the shape. So, ibig sabihin, from the centroid, hininga ano, nga point, to the axis where you are trying to get the moment of inertia. Since this is the axis that you are trying to get the moment of inertia, so ang distance niya from the center of gravity or the centroid to this axis, amin hiya nga D. Okay? Amin siya nga D. So, let us try to use this concept. Say for example, this is pananglitan lang ha, 3 centimeter and base. Tapos ang height naman niya is, say for example, this is 4 centimeters. Okay, so if you are trying to solve for the moment of inertia with respect to this axis right here, hindi din yung axis, ulit aton formula. So kailangan natin mabilingan laanay and EINE, and the formula for the moment of inertia with respect to the centroidal axis is BH cube over 12. Your B is 3. Okay, your height is 4. Adiman. Diba? This is the base and this is the height of the raised to 3 over 12. And INA pala itong hiya. Anyan pala. Plus the area. The area is petabyte area. 4 times 3 or 3 times 4 multiplied by the D. The D is the distance from the centroid. Actually, wala ko pa gin-define, di ba? Say for example, this distance from the bottom of the shape is, say for example lang ha, 2 centimeters. So 2 centimeters. Take note, D is the distance from the centroid to the axis where you are getting the moment of inertia. So your D here should be, ano ba D? 2 plus, ang distance di kan din hinga D is 2. As di 2 gihap, di ba? 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 raised to 2. Don't forget to raise the D to the power of 2. Actually, based on experience, amin din it mostly nga nagkakamalit mga student na hingangalimot dira pag-raise it power of 2. So, please don't repeat that mistake. So, your I here will be
208, sir.
208. This is 208 centimeters raised to 4. Okay? Don't forget the unit. Okay, so that's your answer. So that's how you solve for the moment of inertia at any axis, ha? At any axis.
Sir, ano pa to? Sir, paano nakuha ang 2 plus 2, sir?
2 plus 2, okay. Paano nakuha ang 2 plus 2? Di ba, this is the axis where we are getting the moment of inertia. Then this is the center of gravity. The D kasi is defined as the distance from the center of gravity or the centroid to the what's this? The axis where you are getting the moment of inertia. So it so happened that this is the axis. Tapos this is the centroid.
Ay, okay, sir.
Ha? Inuad to.
Okay na, sir.
Okay na?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's
Thank you,
how we
sir.
get the value 2 plus 2 raised to 2. Asya nga 4 here at distance. So that answer is 208. Okay? And actually, ini nga formula, this can also be used in solving for the moment of inertia at the base. Di ba? Sometimes kasi gipapakuha gyap it aton moment of inertia at the base. Say for example, this is the axis and aton gin ko consider. So using the formula, di ba nasa ring I is equal to, this is the formula again, INA plus AD squared. Your INA is 3 times 4 cube over 12 plus the area is 3 times 4 lang di ba? 3 times 4 times. Now the distance from the axis to the centroid is 2, di ba? 2 squared. So this is your ano. The answer is pera ba?
64.
64, sir.
64. 64. This is in centimeter raised to 4. So this is the answer. Or you can also use the formula. May da kasi kita formula for the moment of inertia with respect to the axis at the base of a rectangle. The formula naman is ano to, BH cube over 3. Sige daw. What's the answer? So this is 3 times 4 cube over 3. So I hope we get the same answer, 64. Asya ba?
Yes, sir.
4 cube, di ba, is 64. So 64 centimeter raised to 4. So amoy tiyat ko an. Okay, so what I'm trying to emphasize here is this formula, right? Actually, this formula. Okay, itawag ito na is transform formula. We can also use that formula on any shape. Okay, on any shape. Usarat ko nga hawaan, general formula. The general formula is the summation of INA plus AD squared. Okay? It nag-iiba-iba ladida is this one. Okay? It formula hit INA. Kasi for rectangle, the formula is nato BH cube over 12. For circle, that is pi d raised to 4 over 64. And for triangle, that is BH cube over... So, amin hiyat mga common shapes. Okay, so, try to memorize itong nga mga kuan, itong nga mga formula. Ini nga, bisan ito nga tutulo. Actually, you include also the spandrel. We have the semicircle, the quarter circle, ellipse. So, i-memorize niyo. Pag himo ka mo yung table. Okay, so the same gahaw nga formula. Only that the shape here is triangle. So, mag-iiba lang ang I and A, di ba? The moment of inertia with respect to the neutral axis. So, same formula. Okay, now let's talk about, let's use the formula. What if we have two shapes na? Ang inauusap pa man la. Diba? Again, ang formula, diba, may summation. So, this will be the summation of I and A plus AD squared. Okay? Since there are two shape, so kumbaga, ano sa nga shape, may daanira hini, quantity, and another shape, may dagihap sugad hini nga quantity. Okay, then you add, diba, kay summation man daw. You have to add, then makukuha natin ang moment of inertia of this composite shape with respect to this axis. Okay? Let's try to solve. Okay. Manually lang muna. Okay, say, let's say for example, the dimension is, pananglitan lang, this is 3, and the height is also, say, this is also 3. This is in centimeters. The height also of this one is 3 centimeters. Pananglitan. Okay, and say the distance of the bottom of the composite shape to the axis, say 2 centimeters. Pananglitan lang. And this distance naman is, let's name this 5 centimeters. Okay? So, duduhait imo shape. May name mo A1. Let's name the first shape as A1 and let's name this as A2. So duduhat imo shape ha. At babaw nga inadha ilarom. So masugad. You have A1 and you have A2. Okay, the first column is INA. An A1 and INA is 3 times 3 raised to 3 over 12, 6.75. This is 6.75. Okay, an A2 naman. Pero ba yung answer? 11.25. Asya ba? 11.25, right? O, meron na kita INA.
Yep.
Tapos, an area naman, you have here 9. Tapos, 15. Tapos, sunod ng column is an D. D is the distance from the centroid of each shape to the axis where you are getting the moment of inertia. This is the axis. Take note ha, adi an axis. Tas for A1, dadi an centroid niya. What's the distance from this point nga dididit niya ng axis? That would be 2 plus 3. So 5 plus 1.5, 6.5, diba? This is 6.5. This is 6.5. How about yung A2? 2 plus 1.5, this is 3.5. That's your D. Tapos saka pala ni mo kukuhaon an AD squared. Your AD squared is, pera ba? Sige daw. For A1, what's the answer? 380 point, pero 25. And for this one, 15 times 3.5 squared,
183.75.
0.75. Okay. So, yun. Isasamla natin an INA. Pero INA. That would be 18.
18, sir.
And how about the AD squared? Pero sum. 380.25 plus 183.75. 564. Siya ba? 564. So, you add na lang, di ba? So, your I here will be 18 plus 564. Pera?
582.
82. This is in
Yes, sir.
centimeter raised to 4. So, that's how you get the moment of inertia at any axis. Okay? Now, you are lucky because the axis is already identified. Maram na kita kunhain ang location and axis. Kunhain natin yung kukuha ang moment of inertia. Now, what if kung dili kita maaramit axis? Example of that problem, if you are trying to find the moment of inertia at the what we call the centroidal moment of inertia of the composite shape. Okay? So, yan ay atong bibiling ang moment of inertia naman han at the neutral axis. Han composite shape ha. Now, take note, and every shape, may da niya sarili nga centroidal moment of inertia and kada shape. And aton gihap composite shape, meaning an gintampo na nga mga shapes, and composite shapes na. May daghap niya hiton, sinisaring INA. Okay? So, what you need to do first is to look for that axis. Dili kita kalimaran kung high na location and axis, di ba? It could be at this portion right here or it could be at the bottom. We don't know actually. So we have to find first kung high it location. Okay? So let's say for example, din hipananglitan lang. So i-divide natin area into two shapes. So we have here A1 and A2. Same process. Pananglitan may nakita din A1 and A2. Okay, so we have here the area laanay. Okay, what's the area for the first? Ano to? This is 3, 3. This is also 3 and the base naman han larger area is 5, di ba? Amo iton hiya. Okay, so for A1, that would be 9 an area. For A2, that would be 15. Okay? And sunod naman is magkukuan lang na kita, magsiset lang na kita reference axis, what we call the reference axis. And usually the reference axis is the axis that passes through the bottom of the composite shape. Okay? So this is the bottom of the composite shape. O adit ato ni si set nga what we call the reference axis. This is the reference axis. Okay? It aton ibubutang dayon is yung what we call the y. Y is the distance of each shape ha the distance of the centroid of each shape to the reference axis. So, for A1, that would be perabyte nga distance. Ini nga distance, perabyte ini nga distance. That would be 4.5. This is 4.5. And for A2 naman, this is 1.5. Yan. So, kung palangitan ibutang ko dito total area, let me use another color. So, this is the total area. What's the total area? 24. 24 ba? 15 plus 9 is 24. Okay, in solving for the value for the y and total area, magamit kitahan Varignon's theorem, di ba? Ang Varignon's theorem na saying that total area times the not the x bar, the y bar. Why here? Because the distance is why here? Because the distance is along the y-axis. That's why y ang natong gingamit din. So 80 times y bar ibig sabihin that denotes that the distance of the centroid of the composite shape na from the reference axis. This is equal to A1 y1 plus A2 y2. Now kung daw nga nga area, may dapat di A3 y3. Pero doon malaki nga area, so kutob laki nga da. Okay, so this is your formula. Now solving for the value of y barred. So this will be A1 y1 plus A2 y2 all over the total area. Okay? So adit aton mga value. Try to solve. So your answer should be 2.625. Is that right? This will be 2.625. Ini amhiyaan aton y barred. Okay? Erase. Hindi ko ibubutang. This is your y barred. Ini. Nakuha. Any question before we proceed? May dapat kaya na? And why pala ito niya? Okay, so may maram nakita kung na yung centroid. Okay. So, ikakali natin pananglit. Ano ang piraban centroid natin? 2.625 from the reference axis. Take note. Okay ha, adit. I-analyze niyo kung hain it location. Paano nga distance? Ini nga distance, the height of A2 is 3. Tapos ang may barred is 2.625. So, mas smaller here. Ibig sabihin, ang aton axis is diha ubos ang junction between the two shapes. Okay, so amo yun here. It aton axis. So, ada good man. And the distance from the reference axis or from the bottom of the composite shape is 2.625. So, that's your axis. Amo ito nit aton, sinisaring niya na nga neutral axis. Okay, now that you know the neutral axis, kukuhaon naton an di ba? Take note ha. I-remind ko lang again kamo. Ang formula naton han moment of inertia, any axis again. Summation of paulit-ulit na lang ura-ura ngalimutan ninyo yung ako ang formula. AD squared. Okay? It aton may na kita area. Di ba? Adi man anaton area. May na kita area. Ang aton nalako lang is the distance and D, the distance from the axis to the centroid of each shape. Okay? Take note, ang aton axis is this one. Okay? So, kailangan natin bilangon ang dilaan. For A1, what is that distance? Ini nga distance. What is that distance? That would be, how do you solve that distance? Di ba? Masayon la. Masaring. Ini nga distance. This is 4.5. Tapos, ang adi nga distance, di ba amon hiyaan y vard? So, to get this distance, 4.5 minus y vard. Pera it distance. Pera? 1.875. This is in centimeters. How about A2? 2.625 minus 1.5. I hope na nagigets niyo, nakikita niyo. 1.125. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, nice. Okay, that's your D. Makukuha na natin ang AD squared. Diba? Sige daw. What's your AD squared for A1? Your A is 9. The answer is 31.640625. I-store ko na lahat A. Ala yun, i-store ko ha A because I don't want to write it Store ko hiya ay, gin-store ko ay calculator. Dapat maaram ka mo mag-store. How about yung AD squared ng A2? That would be 15 times 1.125 squared. Store ko naman ni habi. Okay? Pag dirak magsinurat dida. Okay, ato habi A, ato habi. Okay. So, ada na. Take note again, this is your formula. May din nakitahan yan kailangan na natin ang INA. So, ibutan ko na lang didi ang INA. Ang tagsa-tagsa nga shapes, di ba? So, for A1, that is 3 times 3 cube over 12. Pero ang hawad to? 6 point something man to.
6.75, sir.
Siya ba? 6.75. Nakakalimot ako. How about the A2? 11 something.
11.25.
11.25.
11.25. Okay? So, i-add ko lang ini. I-add lang natin ini pa kaya ubos. Diba? Kasi i-add natin ha ubos. Peraan A plus B. A plus B. Nakastore man na calculator. A plus 50.625. Let me write it here. 50.625. How about this one? 18. This is 18. Sarado, di ba? Tapos, iga-add ko na lang hirang nga duha. Pero man, 68.625. Diba? This is your INA. Uncomposite shape. Okay? Amoy niya mo INA uncomposite shape. Any question? Nakuha ba? So, recap lang. Okay. First, ginkuha natin. Actually, natin pinakaunang goal is to locate the centroid of the composite shape. That's why, nagkuha kitahan, ginkuha natin an A tapos an Y para makuha natin an Y vard. Y vard kasi dictates the location of the centroid of the composite shape. Now, maaram ka na makunhain ang centroid, malulocate mo na kunhain an axis. Diba? So, kung maaram ka na axis, mababarukahan, valuehan D. Then, you solve for AD squared. Then, masaya malaan INA because you are supposed to have memorized the formula na moment of inertia of regular shapes. Any question? May pakiana? Anyone from the Zoom? May pakiana? Waray? Okay.
Waray po, sir.
Okay. Let me erase this one. Let's use, gusto ko erase. Magamit kitahan calculator technique para ma-appreciate niyo yung calculator technique. So, makato ka mo mode 3. Before ka mo kumato mode 3-2, kailangan lang natin i-solve an INA, tagsa-tagsa nga shape. Masabi man because, take note ha, you are supposed to memorize the formula for the regular shape and moment of inertia at the neutral axis of each regular shape. For A1, an INA, A1, to? This is 6.75. Tapos, ang INA naman, A2, 11.25. Okay. Technique lang ha. Didit iyo, magamit nga ng calculator, di ba? Pananglitan. Supposedly, diri ka pa maaram. Maaram naman kasi kita in reality. Kaya ginsolve naman natin kanina, di ba? Ini nga mga values. Pero kung pananglitan, diri ka pa maaram. This is how you do it. Parang, oops. Okay. Gagamiton mo ang imo calculator. Pananglitan anaton. 3 an iya. Kalimutan ko. This is 3, di ba? Plus an 3. Yan. Okay. Didi masaling ka 3 times 3 cube, di ba? Over 12. Okay. Pananglitan kasi nagdadagmit ka naman ito. So this is another technique. You store na lang. So na-solve ni mo ang INA han A1, store ni mo ha A. Okay? Tigam ni naman nga adaha. Tigam ng taha adaha A. Tapos, ang ikaduha naman is, pero add to 5 times 3 cube. 3 cube. I hope nakikita niyo ito akong calculator. Over 12 is 11.25. Store ko naman hiya habi. Okay? Kasi, gin-store ko hiya habi para later, di rin na damo takpipinduton. 6.20, 6.75. Upat pa ini nga kaboton na i-press. So, parang although guti galangan ito nga time it nakukuan pero it would Punta mo na nga ni. Oh. Lalong-lalo na kung na board exam. Okay, so these are your INA and composite shape. So kadto kita ha mode 3-2. Mode 3-2. Mode 3-2. Linear kita. Mode 3-2. So amo init malabas X and Y. Actually, bisan diri mode 3-2. Sige, mode 3-2 na lang. Mode 3-2. Tapos, i-on natin aton frequency. Di ba dire naka-on frequency? Pag on frequency, makikita shift, set up. At it set up add to hit mode, babaw hit mode. So, shift mode ito niya. Set up tapos down. Adikit number 4, stat. Frequency on, number 1. Nakuha? Nahabol? Ano ba? Nahabol niyo?
Sir, otro daw, sir. Naglag.
Okay. Otrohan natin ha.
Waray, sir.
Okay, otrohan natin. Adi kita hit koan.
Sir, bakit naglag, sir? Choppy na.
Nag-choppy? Okay. So, makatita mode 3-2. Pananglitan diri pa naka-on ang frequency. Pananglitan diri pa naka-on ha. Pag on frequency, makato kita ha shift, set up, shift mode, set up. Tas adi kita ha down. Tas ada hit stat mode number 4. Tas i-on nato ng frequency number 1. Nahabol? Please confirm para kita maka-proceed. Nahabol ba hantanan?
Yes, sir.
Ano daw? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sige. Okay, naka-on at frequency. Okay ah? It aton yung bibiling din is the moment of inertia with respect to the neutral axis. The neutral axis is along the x-axis, di ba? Di man natin neutral axis. This is your neutral axis. And the neutral axis is along the x-axis, di ba? This is y-axis and this is the x-axis. Along the x-axis siya. So, dito kita ma-focus sa y. Along the x-axis siya. Dito kita ma-focus sa y because ang distance nga aton ibubutang is okay, pananglitan ang distance and center of gravity. The centroid. Ini nga distance. Di ba ini nga distance is along the y. So dito kita ma-focus sa y. Dito naton ibubutang ang distance ha y, diri ha x. Okay? Distances man aton ginbubutang. Okay. So again. Okay. Ibubutang din ha x. Hawaii ngayon. Nasa rin pala ako Hawaii. Ibubutang Hawaii. And distances, take note ha, and distances han centroid of each shape from the reference axis. From the reference axis. Kaya ano reference? Because diri pa kita maaram kung hain it location han imo center neutral axis. Dili pa kita maaram kung hain i-allocation. So, imo i-input dida an imo distance from the center of gravity to the reference axis. Again ha, it reference axis. Actually, kamo it magbubuot kung hain it reference axis. Sometimes kasi it pinaka-common nga reference axis ay haubos. Sometimes adi gihabaw. Okay? Depende lang iton kung hain it i-reference axis. Basta, importante, consistent ka mo. Kung an A1 ang i-reference adi haubos, dapat an A2 gihap, tanan nga area adi gihap an i-reference axis. Dapat papareho it reference axis. Okay? So for now, let us all agree nga it reference axis niya adi haubos. So mode 3 to, masing X, Y, and the frequency. Hindi kita ma-focus sa Y. Okay? An A1 tapos an A2 here. At ha X, blanco halit dida, ha Y, it imo ibubutang for A1 that is 1.5, for A2 that is, 4.5. Right? 4.5. Sa frequency naman is your area. For A1 that is 9, for A2 that is 15. Diba asya ba? Yes. Okay. Thank you. O, diba? Baliktad. An A1 is 4.5. Tapos, this is 1.5. Tama. Kaya baliktaron ko nga how did it. 4.5. Tapos 1.5. Nakuha niyo kung kaya ano nga sugalit atong gin-input. Kundi niton panguha nga mga number. Any question? Are there any questions? Okay na?
Sir, ang frequency and area, no?
Yes, an area and frequency. Sige, input lang ay. Okay, okay na? Okay, press AC. CA didihit kuan. Actually, AC hakan hakuan ha Casio, CA naman hakanon. Okay, AC. Press AC. Now, di ba? Ano to natin 5? Butang kong how didi ha para for your reference. Summation of INA plus AD squared. Yan, this is your formula. Okay. Ang summation han INA, di ba gin-store naton an aton mga aton mga moment of inertia with respect to the neutral axis on each shape haing han B kanina, di ba? So an INA masugad lang kita A plus B because we had previously stored the value of the INA for each shape. Dida haing han ha B, di ba? So A plus B ginsasamman la naton plus ang summation han ini nga quantity AD squared adit pagkuha plus manakita makadikita ha apps nakikita ni with apps if you are using your Canon F789 SGA apps ubos hit shift apps di ba ay na variance S number 5 S var variance number 5 okay liwat ha apps variance amonit magawas. Nakita niyo? Hello? Okay. I-input dida a calculator. This is I is equal to A plus B and aton gin-store nga value, di ba? Adi adto ha A, ini adto ha B plus N nasugad X squared. Amo hindi tap i-input sa calculator. Okay. N number 1. Tapos ups again. 5. Tapos sa hindi da. Diri kita X ngayon. Adi kita ha Y ngayon. Diri X. This is Y. Di ba waray kita value ha X? Adi man. Waray kita value ha X. Ato kita ha Y dapat. Okay. Hinet Y. Number, no. Number 6. Iba't iya kasurat dida. Naunaan Y. Tapos may da pa niya N. Okay? So, amit ibubutang. Tapos squared of course. Squared. Kaya ano squared, diba? Adama? AD squared. An imo area dida is your N. Diba? An imo naman pinaka-D dida is your ano nga quantity. I forgot the name of that. Standard deviation, I think. Standard deviation. So, I'm yung input. So, when you press equal, the answer should be the same kanina. Pero ang answer kanina, 68.625. Asya ba? 68.625. So, N dida is the area. Ipakita ko lang iyo ha, kay ano N it is area. When you press N, the value of N is actually the sum of all the area. 9 plus 15 is 24 naman, value hit N, diba? So, amo N times the standard deviation, Hawaii squared. So, that's how you get. Any question? Any question? Tinhi? The answer is 68 point, perado? 125? 625? This is in centimeter raised to 4. This is your INA. Any question? May pakiana?
Sir, pag pre-board sir, kailangan amo nito ang calculator.
Ada kay mag-pre-board nga ni kita. So dito ni calculator, dere pwede dere allowed. Nga wala dito halistahan PRC allowed. Dapat yung
Sir?
calculator nga gagamiton is aton PRC allowed calculator. Yes. Any question?
Sir?
Hmm.
Sir, maas po ako kung ano po ang meaning hadto nga y and squared po.
Standard deviation.
Thank you, sir.
Standard deviation. An
Pero
aton
sir, kung
ito
given
nga quantity,
x,
ito nga quantity. What do you mean?
po,
Kung
ano po sir, pinagkaibahan han x and y?
standard deviation, an imo wala nimo standard deviation ha x because wala nimo data nga gini-input ha x column. 'Di ba? Kangina. So wala nimo standard deviation. Di makita nag-input ha y. Di naman kita nag-input. So diri nimo masuso an imo gagamiton nga kuan kay di ka man nag-input ha y, ana di nga standard deviation han y. Ani mo gagamiton.
Okay po sir, thank you po.
Okay. Ini nga di na calculator nakasurat kay naguunaan y ada y tapos nasugad tapos may n pa. Amo nit nakabutang di na calculator pero as amo talaga ini. Okay? Any other question before we proceed?
Malipat na sir ang paggamit ng calculator.
Malipat ba? Hain ang malipat.
Yes, sir.
Hain ang malipat. Okay na? So, amin niya ha. That's the answer. Okay, dili kita hit koan. How about pangina di ba nasugad? How about kung nasugad it aton butang, kabutang hit aton ano, composite shape. Okay. Now, it technique diri la di da calculator, may dagi hapiton technique di dahit. Okay. Kita adam niyo din hi. The centroid that should have been centroid diri CG. Center of gravity kasi is the term used for or the center of gravity for 3D na ito niya. So mga shape, mga kuan na volume. Since we are just dealing with planes, dapat centroid. CG anak na butang. Anyways. Okay, so as you can see, the centroid of this area, the centroid of this area lies on the same axis. So they lie on the same axis. So if that's the case, kung sugad nga ni ha, take note ha, if they lie on the same axis, you can use this formula. In solving for the value of INA of the composite shape, this will be the summation of INA lang, han each shape, if they lie on the same axis. Okay? Kung tanan nga shape na lie didahan axis. Okay, so sugad. Di ba mas napadalan imo kuan kangina pero adtuan an A1 an INA han A1 6.75 tapos an A2 this is 11.25. So this will be terabyte here. 20 18. 18, di ba? Amo ito niya at answer. Di ba? Madagmit. Adi.
Sir, may nakalapagyan na, sir.
Yes.
Ano to kanina, sir? Nakatusuhan ka ng ups, awanan, sir. Ano to ni mo ka?
Ups.
Anong anay nito, sir, dapat nga di, sir. Kung
Ano
nakasyo, sir.
Kasyo.
Sir, kinanin
Kanon la agad.
Kasyo ano it imo? Kasyo ano?
Kuan, sir, an 570 is
57 ES. Hindi kasi it allowed.
oo,
That
sir.
is not allowed.
Shift stat number 1.
Dire ni it may dalahin ni actually 991 ES 570 tapos in an if an canon FSG ano to ngalimutan ko ang name man calculator ano man canon F789 is GA amulit may da ano to yung calculator
O, di, sir, nga po, on Casio FX 570 is ang dati po.
570 may I Wala, namatay man. Okay, may DD 570. Yun yun. Sige, adi kita, for the sake of discussion, actually, 991 ESN niya, pero pareho mali itong hiyait ko, it iya functionality. Nakikita niyo akong calculator. Hello, hino to nagpakiana
Yes, sir.
kanina. Ay, input natin ha. Input lang natin
Yes, sir.
ay pero to 6.75, 6.75. Store ko hiya ha A. Tas 11.25. Of course, dapat compute ni mo yun hiya, di da ha calculator. Store ko hiya ha B. And tas makato ka na mga mode 3, 2. It 2 kay A plus BX. Hinad to hiya? Nasasundan ba? Hello? Okay.
Yes, sir. Mode 3.
Mode 3 to. Tas makatukita ha kuan. It's set up. Kailangan naka-on it frequency. I-on ko it frequency. Shift mode or set up. Shift mode down. Tas adi kita stat number 4. Tapos i-on natin it frequency. Tas haway ni mo i-input. Ano mo i-input ha calculator? Adi man ang table. 4.5 tas 1.5. Tas sa frequency naman, ito mo input 9 and 15. Yan. So, press AC. Pagkuha naman imo kuan, han imo moment of inertia, that would be A plus, ano ba yan? A plus B plus, adiha, kita, didit kasyo, iba kasi, ada kahit stat mode, diba? Ada man, nakita niya about yung calculator it screen, may na nakamutang stat. Naka-stat mode ka. Tapos didi naman it kasyo, didit number 1, babaw hit number 1, may dito nakasurat nga stat. Diba? So you have to execute the command. To execute the command dito nga stat, it babaw hit number 1, shift 1 ka. Shift 1, tapos ada ka variance. Diba? Variance siya pangina. Number 4, it variance. Tas n, number 1. Multiplied by shift 1 ka again. Shift 1, tas variance. Tas ada ka naman ha, number 6. Number 6. Ada man. Tas squared. Press equal. 68.625. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other concern before we proceed? Okay. Sige. Basta amo itong hiya. Okay, basta if the centroid of each shape, of all the shapes again, of all the shape lie on the same plane, then lie on the same axis pala. Excuse me. In pagkuha INA, you just need to add. Okay, how about if the shape is this one? Pananglitan sugad hinit shape. Imbibiling natin its center of gravity, no, not the center of gravity, the moment of inertia about the neutral axis or the centroidal moment of inertia. Kung sugad hini, since hollow man habot nga, di ba? Same gihap and formula I is equal to the summation INA. Summation of INA. Kaya ano? Because the centroid of the smaller rectangle and the centroid of the larger rectangle, they lie on the same axis. So, magagamitan mo gihap ini nga formula. Pangina pero adto an larger larger rectangle. Pero adto iba naman ini nga rectangle, pananglitan naso galit rectangle. This is 3 and this is 5. Tapos din naman this is 2 and this is 4. Pananglitan lang. Okay, so magiging pera din 5, not 5. 3. And larger rectangle, this is 3 times 5 cube over 12 minus kay hollow man. Minus 2 times 4 cube over 12. Yan. Separate answer. INA. Separate answer. Take note again ha, magagamitan mo lang ini nga formula kung if and only if all of the center of gravity or the centroid of all the shapes lie on the same axis?
20.9.
41 man ko, no? You press equal. The answer is 41.92. Is that your answer? Oh, minus nga yan, Jerry,
20,
plus. Yes, 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 yes,
20.58 man,
yes.
sir.
Oo, minus nga yan. Sorry. Diba?
20.58.
20.58. Tas 3333, di ba? Pero di lang nga hit ko. Usually kasi, seldom lang kasi ipakianak kung what is the neutral axis. Usually, it neutral axis parang step pala ito niya. Sa palit nga step it pag-design. So, kung di da nga hit yung board exam, diri pa nga ni final answer. Like this one, this is not yet the final answer. Ayaw niyo it gamita, it 20.58. It iyo gamita and whole value. So what will you do is, di ba, 0.333 pa ito niya to. So instead nga iyo round off, you store na lang the value to a number, to a letter, you calculator. Then use the letter as the representation of that quantity. Hindi yung pagko-compute para tanan ang value ang magagamit. Nakuha? Kasi kung basta, asya itiya. Oh, okay na. So that's your value for INA. 20.32.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, with regards po, sir, hitan nga unconcerned po ang pag-round off. What if, sir, i-fix namon into 2 decimal places? Pwede po ba iton?
No. Lalong-lalo na it aton for this class because it nag-check it EU papel is Excel. So it Excel, diri hiya nag-round off kung diri pa hiya final answer. That's why I'm asking you not to round off if it's not yet the final answer. Okay?
Okay, sir.
So kung basta yun yung ground off, kay bangin da ko it discrepancy hit final answer. Okay? Ara, this is your koan ha for this class. Do not round off if it's not yet the final answer. It buhata lugod is store nga to hit letter tas ang letter ang gagamitin pag solve ang nasunod nga mga quantities. Any question before we proceed again? Waray pa kay Ana. Okay.